So many others like myself have never really seen the Beyblade manga until recently. There were so many events and things that were changed and switched up into the anime, I figured if no one else has really seen it, why not I just give a video showcasing the entire manga. So here's the entire Beyblade manga of season 1. Let me know how you guys feel about this, if you guys also want to see season 2 and season 3. The story begins with Jinga sleeping on a top tower, just snoring around. We see some kids Beyblading in a park, in a little stadium. With this we're introduced to Yumiya Kenta. He's a 5th grader who loves Beyblade. He yells out 3, 2, 1, go shoot. And with this we see his bay. They say what a landing. Kenta then says alright now we're winning, go for the plunge. As they're battling, a big man steps by and kicks over Kenta's Beyblade. He says what do you think you're doing? These guys happen to be the Face Hunter and they take over everything, destroying all the Beyblades. Kenta says what should I do? I'm next, but there's no way I can beat this guy. And we still see Jinga snoring. Jinga however wakes up and suddenly falls as he sees his Pegasus coming down. He lands right there on the ground, right in front of the Face Hunter and Kenta. They say it's a person, it's raining people. Jinga then notices his Beyblade Pegasus and says, you okay buddy? With this, he's glad that his Pegasus is okay. He then says, what are you guys doing over there? The big man says there's interference with our match, we have to have a rematch now. Kenta says this time I'll use the collection. Jinga's excited saying, oh you're Beyblading? Let me go next. Kenta says it's no good, if you lose the match he takes your Bey. Jinga doesn't care, he says then win. Kenta says I can't win against such a strong guy. Jinga says come on, it's totally easy. Jinga helps Kenta discover his Blader spirit, and with this he's able to defeat the Face Hunter. Jinga says you did it. Kenta says thank you, it's all thanks to you. Kenta says I'm Kenta and Jinga says my name is Jinga, and that's how they meet. As Kenta wants to know more of who Jinga is, we see a mysterious guy saying I really want to know that guy too. Kenta says who are you? This guy says I'm from the Face Hunters. Jinga then receives a letter saying to Bandana Boy, we are the Sagittarial Shrimp. If you want to get him back, come to the construction site, the Face Hunters. Jinga obviously knows that it's Kenta. We then see a guy saying welcome to our secret base, I'm the leader of the Face Hunters, KiiNGKhyy. Kenta screaming saying Jinga get out of here. Jinga says how about you give Kenta to me? Kiyoya says haven't you learned enough? I'm only interested in the bays of strong people. If you want the shrimp back, fight me. Jinga says fine. Kiyoya laughs saying you're kidding. Kenta says oh yeah, what kind of bay does Jinga have? I couldn't really see before. We then see Jinga's bay, Pegasus 105F. We see that it's beat up and has a lot of scratches on it. Those aren't regular scratches, they're hard-earned battle scars. Kiyoya then puts up 100 bladers against Jinga, proving an all-out battle royale. Jinga doesn't seem phased at all in the slightest as he gives a slight grin. We then see the real power of Blader Spirit and see the real Pegasus as he brings out his bay. Jinga is able to fight 100 bays at once by himself. We see the big man again losing his hair. Jinga defeats all 100 Bladers and saying this is his Blader spirit. His true power is infinite. Next time is Jinga vs Tatagami in a huge class. Jinga says the deciding factor in the Bay battle isn't its number, it's the Blader spirit. Kiyoya laughs saying interesting, I just keep wanting your Bay more and more. Kiyoya drops up saying if you really want this shrimp, follow me up. They then meet on the rooftop. Kiyoya says welcome to my private stadium. Jinga notices that there's a stadium on the roof. Kiyoya says I'll kill you. Is that Kiyoya's Bay, says Kenta. Kiyoya then shoots out his Leon. We see that the stadium was built to protect Leon with the wind power being on the ceiling. Any bay that attacks Leon is usually blown away. Kiyoya then says you figured it out, but just as you get it, you're going to fall. We then see Leon's special move, Leon Gale Force Wall. Jinga's not really sure what to do. As he's about to fall, he sees that his scarf is gone. He notices his scarf go up in the air, flying up. Kiyoya says hey now, you don't have the time to be stargazing, this battle is mine. Jinga then says this fight isn't over yet. Pegasus gets knocked up into the sky, and Kenta says the match is over when you ring out. Kenta says I'm sorry Jinga, you lost your precious babe because of me. Jinga says what are you talking about Kenta, my Pegasus isn't dead yet. Pegasus ends up falling down from the sky. With this we see Pegasus shooting star attack, and he defeats Kiyoya. Jinga purposely got knocked upward to get a good aim at the weak point and come crashing down. Jinga gives Kiyoya his Bay saying here's your Bay, you're good friends right? Kiyoya congratulates him and they have a handshake. As they're talking, a helicopter comes down, and we see a man saying, what a beautiful scene. He says, I found you, Jinga, and he's Doji. Doji says, I'd like to have a touching reunion, but there's no time. He says, you're going to die, as he pulls out his Bay. That Bay is Wolf, says Jinga. He says, you guys hurry and get out of here. Doji's Wolf crashes the whole stadium, and Jinga goes flying down with Kenta and Kiyoya. The whole rooftop gets blasted into pieces. As they're falling down, Jinga calls out his Pegasus, shooting it down. With this, Pegasus is able to create a tornado wing, saving Kiyoya, Kenta, and Jinga. However though, Jinga does get unconscious, falling asleep. We then meet a strange man. He says his name is Hakoto, and he's a friend of Jinga's. He says first let's transfer him to a safe area. Hakoto tells them about an organization called the Dark Nebula. They're an organization looking to misuse the hidden power. The group called Dark Nebula had gotten a hold of a bay they were not meant to use. That bay's name is El Drago, the forbidden bay with the power of evil. KiiNGKhyy says, well, what did those Dark Nebula guys want with Jinga's life? It is that Pegasus is the only bay that can destroy El Drago. We then see Doji talking with a mysterious man, and he tells him that Jinga is still alive. We see that this man is Ryuga. Doji says, Sir Ryuga, it's raining. Ryuga says search for Jinga and find him within 5 minutes. Even though it's raining, Ryuga shoots out his El Drago into the sky. With this, his El Drago is able to quell and disperse all the rain in the area. We then see a strange man look and find Hakoto and Kenta in them. His name is Busujima, a blader under Ryuga. His mission was to low-gauge Jinga. Hakoto then reveals that he's actually a dog, and he has no choice but to fight Busujima. As Busujima is getting ready to defeat Hakoto, Jinga comes out of nowhere, crashing into his bay and defeating him. We then see Ryuga come out and saying, did I say anyone could run? And Jinga notices that Ryuga is there. Ryuga is the leader of the Dark Nebula and the wielder of the Forbidden Bay, El Drago. Kenta notices that it looks like Jinga knows Ryuga, but he's not sure what happened between those two. Ryuga says, Jinga, I can't believe you're still alive. Jinga says, I'll never forgive you. Ryuga says, how interesting, as he launches his bay. He's able to carve a hole into the ground to make a stadium. We then get a look into Jinga's past, and we see his father, Ryusei Hagane. We see Jinga's father going head to head with a big bear. And Jinga says, Dad, what are you doing? We also see his dad launch Pegasus. This is Koma Village. People call it the home of Beyblade. The Forbidden Bay El Drago was born there. We see Jinga as a kid saying, hey dad, let's bay battle. His dad says, you wanna? Alright, but dad won't lose. We see them both launching their bays and they both battle each other. We see Jinga asleep and Hakoto says there is trouble. Jinga says, what's wrong? Hakoto says the village is being attacked by a strange group, you must hurry. We then see helicopters flying over to this huge volcano. We see Ryuga saying, I finally got it, so this is the Forbidden Bay, El Drago. It looks fit for a king. We see Jinga's father step in saying, I won't let you have that bay. Ryuga says, the guardian of the Forbidden Bay, Pegasus, huh? How interesting. Jinga then says, that's El Drago? The Beyblade infused with too much power. As Jinga's dad and Ryuga are battling, we notice that this is the power of El Drago. All bays normally have a clockwise rotation. Accordingly, when two bays are in a match, they will follow along the same directional course. However, El Drago has counterclockwise rotation. In the case that two oppositely spinning bays fight, the attack always comes from head-on, leaving no option for escape. From there are no attack or defense skills. They're just smashing into each other with brute force. That's the forbidden power of counterclockwise spin. Ryuga's clash with Jinga's dad ends up burning up the whole building, destroying everything. We see Jinga's dad getting ready to fall, and he tells him that you're the only survivor to Jinga. He says the only one who can stop him is Pegasus. The one thing that decides the battle is the Blader spirit. He launches Pegasus to Jinga, and as everything crashes down. We now cut back to the present, as Ryuga says, are you still sad that I murdered your dad? Is it hard to face the man who destroyed everything you love? Do you plan on taking me down? Ryuga says, what an idiot. Your father lost because he was weak, that's it. If you're the son of that miserable scum, how could you win? A scum's child is nothing but scum too. Jinga says, don't you dare. My dad was the greatest blader ever. The likes of you? You think he could lose to the likes of you? Jinga says, I'll beat this guy. El Drago ends up withstanding Jinga's attack, and Ryuga's actually panting. He says that Jinga actually managed to push me to my limit. I'll have to finish him off right here after all. KiiNGKhyy says watch out, he's up to something. Ryuga then activates his dark move, Dragon Emperor Soaring Bite Strike. With this he destroys Pegasus into pieces. All that's left of Pegasus right now is his face bolt. Ryuga says we must hurry with our preparations for battle bladers. As he walks by Jinga, he says go get your dad to buy you a proper Beyblade, boy. And then he says whoops, I forgot, you no longer have a dad. Kenta looks and says Jinga. Jinga sits on the ground distraught, as Pegasus is in pieces. KiiNGKhyy says I don't think it's possible to mend a Beyblade that badly damaged. Hakoto then gives Jinga a letter, saying that his father entrusted him with the letter the day he died. He said he should open this letter if Jinga ever loses a really big battle. His dad tells him listen up, human beings are always at their strongest when they get up after a major defeat. In other words, this is your chance. This is no time to be moping around, it's a great opportunity. Get up, Jinga. Only guys who refuse to give up grow into adults. Jinga says, idiot dad, you're still joking around, even in your letter. The letter says if your Beyblade is ever in need of help, just go to this place. There you will find a guy known as the God of Beyblades. I'm sure he'll be able to help. He's in Yamanishi Prefecture. That's right next to Mount Fuji, where there's a vast evergreen forest. The gang heads over there and they see a monkey Beyblading. They're confused, saying a monkey's playing with Beyblade. Hakoto is even shocked, and they're saying look who's talking, you're a dog. Jinga says then again, why is there a Beyblade deep in the forest anyway? The monkey battles KiiNGKhyy and ends up winning. Jinga ends up battling the monkey, but he doesn't have his real Pegasus, so he ends up bringing out his practice Pegasus. He says this Beyblade will do just fine. The monkey says I'm none other than the god of Beyblades. They're confused that he can speak as well. He never thought that a being from the legends actually exists, says Akoto. The monkey says his name is Mawashi. He's the one who's been looking after Beyblades for nearly 800 years. He says, so the son of Ryo has grown into such a skilled young lad, I see. Mawashi says, I've been keeping an eye on what's been going on. It seems that the forbidden Beyblade El Drago has been brought back to life. When Ryuga, the head of the Dark Nebula organization, stole El Drago, he took Jinga's father's life as well. Jinga says, I swore to defeat Ryuga using the Pegasus Beyblade that his dad had passed to me. However, Ryuga's dark move, the Dragon Emperor Soaring Bite Strike, ripped Pegasus to shreds. Jinga asks the monkey, I beg you, please teach me how to repair Pegasus. Kenta says, we're begging you too, Master Mawashi, please help Jinga. Mawashi says, are you prepared to risk your life for your Beyblade? Jinga says, so there is a way to mend my Beyblade, and Mawashi says, come with me. KiiNGKhyy asks, what is this place, as they see a big mountain. Mawashi says, this is a secret mountain pass that only the ancient bladers know about. This path leads to the crater of Mount Fuji. Jinga says the crater of Mount Fuji, and Mawashi says you're going to need metal in order to revive your Beyblade. If you hurl your Beyblade into the crater of Mount Fuji and into the magma below, the boiling hot magma will turn into metal and Pegasus will be reborn. I still have Pegasus Phaseball with me, does this mean? And Mawashi says that's right, Pegasus can be revived. He also says, but still your heart, for you'll have to survive the frigid cold to reach the peak, and it won't be easy. I wonder if you're truly ready to undertake this task. Kenta says though he's already gone, as Jinga gets moving. Jinga climbs up and ends up seeing a rope bridge. The rope bridge starts to crumble though, and he falls down with Pegasus Phaseball. He ends up in the harsh winters, cold, and still not there yet. He's finally reached the top. Now he just has to set Pegasus Phaseball in his practice Beyblade and hurl it into the crater. As soon as he's getting ready to rip off his Pegasus, his arms can't move. Mawashi notices that Jinga's heart has suddenly stopped beating and Jinga falls to the ground. KiiNGKhyy and Kenta are screaming at Jinga, saying open your eyes. Jinga eventually hears them, and he says my friends are cheering me with all their heart. I can't let myself be defeated here. And he lets his Beyblade rip. Pegasus now slowly falls into the crater, recreating itself. We now see the new version of his Pegasus. KiiNGKhyy and Kenta notice the new Pegasus, and they say it's completely different from the old one. It has a second wheel above his fusion wheel. As we're noticing the new Pegasus, we see Doji flying down from a helicopter. Doji says, what would you say that if you give him a taste of your new Pegasus in a duel against his Dark Wolf? And Jinga says bring it on. Pegasus is able to easily swift and defeat him though with his new special move, Pegasus Stormbringer. With this Stormbringer, KiiNGKhyy even notices its incredible power. It creates a real hurricane. The power that Pegasus possesses equals that of a storm, and from this day on, Jinga calls his new Pegasus Storm Pegasus. KiiNGKhyy always thought that Jinga and him were equals, but now he realized that he's still far from that. Doji says, so you're calling it Storm Pegasus, huh? In any case, that was quite a fight. He ends up stepping on his own bay and says it's nothing more than a useless tool. Jinga says, should I remind you that it was Wolf that fought for you? Doji says, I have no need for weak excuses. You could at least take a big care of it, says Jinga. Doji says, nevertheless, in 3 months, there will be a Bay tournament organized by Dark Nebula which will determine Japan's strongest blader. It'll be called Battle Bladers. Doji says, and there is no need to ask that Ryuga will also participate in it, and as a result, he will be recognized as the strongest blader. He has transmitted the message and is ready to go. KiiNGKhyy tells Jinga that it's neither Ryuga or Doji who will defeat him, but it's himself. Kenta says he also wants to become stronger too, and he'll train harder to get much stronger, and if by coincidence they find themselves in the same stadium, they will all meet each other in Battle Bladers. Now we see Jinga and everyone training, and everywhere in the country are bladers training like there's no tomorrow. We see Jinga in a panel with Ryuga, and Jinga says, Ryuga, I will make you understand pain. We now cut to the Battle Bladers arena, and Jinga here says, so that's the famous arena of Battle Bladers. There's an insane amount of players here. They all look quite promising. Then we see someone screaming out, be welcome, fellow bladers. The participants will be divided into 8 sections, A to H. There's 125 bladers will face each other in a battle royale. Only the 2 remaining bladers will advance to Battle Bladers. We then see Kenta Sagittario get smashed, and he says, oops, my bad, how clumsy I am. Kenta says you did it on purpose, there's no way about it. Then this mysterious figure comes to Kenta saying, do you want to restore your bay? With this, he's able to magically restore his bay by some type of magic power, and Kenta says it's working. He's back restored. This man says it's the Blader spirit that makes the bay. He says your Blader spirit gave him new life, and now with this, Kenta has Flame Sagittario. Kenta says, wait, who are you? The man says the name's Phoenix. We have Jinga coming around, and he says, what, is that a new bay? We then cut to the tournament, and we see Jinga's special move, Star Blast Attack. We also see Kenta's new Flame Sagittario, and he's able to win his battle royale. We also have Ryuga's battle, and his battle didn't even last 3 seconds. He wiped out the whole section. Jinga and Ryuga walk right past each other, and Jinga says, "I'll give you the fight of your life." With that, we now have all 15 participants that have entered the tournament. Which of these people will be our winner? We see everyone as Kenta says, "Well, these bladers look pretty strong." Jinga says, "I know, right? I'm so excited to fight them." KiiNGKhyy says, "You haven't changed at all." Jinga says, "KiiNGKhyy, you made it in too?" We also see Benkei makes it as he lifts Jinga and Kenta, and he says, "I'm so glad to see you guys doing well. That reminds me of old good times." And Jinga says, "You? Sorry, what was your name again?" He says, "It's me, Benkei, from the Face Hunter, the strongest blader after KiiNGKhyy." Jinga and Kenta are shocked, but Benkei says, "But I won't take it personally though. I must say I did change a lot, but first, I need to apologize for what I did." We get into the first battle, which is Ryuga versus Benkei. This battle wasn't too much as Ryuga is completely bored, and he was asleep the whole time. Jinga says he didn't even react to Dark Bull's special move. Out of nowhere, Ryuga's base starts to transform, and everyone starts to notice his transformation. Ryuga is able to transform his Bay into Lightning El Drago. We then see Doji saying about time for El Drago to show its true face. The more it fights, the more stronger it gets. Ryuga says finally, after all this time, the real El Drago is mine. We see El Drago, the terrible dragon of lightning. We also see that Bull's other rotation wheel has been wrecked. Ryuga says, "Let me show you the power of El Drago," and he has his barrage mode. With his 3 claws at his rotation wheel, it literally dismembers Bull. KiiNGKhyy hints that Bull is already taking a lot of damage, and his Bay will be torn to pieces, and he won't be able to ever Beyblade again if he continues. Benkei doesn't care though, and he says he will fight to the bitter end. He doesn't know anything about Ryuga's special move, but compared to his training with KiiNGKhyy, it's no big deal. Ryuga then activates his upper mode, switching gears. Its energy wheel completely changes, and the dragons have moved, revealing its blades. We then see Ryuga's special move, Dragon Emperor Soaring Bite Strike. Benkei is beaten up badly and falls to the floor. A member of Dark Nebula says, "Happens to Jumbo Crab, right? After he tried to take on Master Ryuga." Just what was he thinking? Only a fool would do that. Cons like him are the worst. His bait is there to be shredded to pieces, and as he's laughing, he gets gripped up. KiiNGKhyy grabs him saying, "Don't you ever dare underestimate the Face Hunters. Do not expect any mercy from my side during the battle." KiiNGKhyy states that it's him, KiiNGKhyy, who will win Battle Bladers, and Jinga says, "KiiNGKhyy, you really did become strong." Overwhelmed by Drago's power, Bull was reduced to pieces. With vengeance filling his heart, KiiNGKhyy claimed victory in the second match and moves on to the next. And now the third round has begun. We then see Hikaru Hasuma versus Tsubasa Otori. Hikaru says, "You're tough, aren't you?" Tsubasa says, "Even with all that attacking of yours, you couldn't land a single scratch on my eagle." Tsubasa then uses his special move, Eagle Counter Stance, and is able to defeat Hikaru. The next match is supposed to be Phoenix versus Reggie, but Phoenix is nowhere to be found. Phoenix says, "Pardon me, but I got other things to do. I need to observe your battles, Jinga." We then skip a little bit to another match with Kenta versus Yu. Right away, Yu was able to use a dark move. With this, he completely blows Sagittario out of the stadium. Doji says dark moves are Dark Nebula exclusive, but they're reserved to one elite. Besides me and Master Ryuga, there are 3 individuals who can perform this technique: Yu, Reiji, and Tsubasa. All the members of Dark Nebula are now revealed. Jinga thinks back. He says, "Dad always told me, listen carefully, Jinga. Training is very important to improve your Beyblading. But victory depends on one thing, the Blader spirit. As long as you have your determination burning in your heart, you'll be sure to win. And we have it." Jinga says, "Watch me, Dad," as he slings Pegasus into the sky. We have the first Battle Royale match, which is Tsubasa, Jinga, Yu, and KiiNGKhyy. Yu says, "Say Tsubasa, can I beat them all on my own?" Tsubasa says, "Remember Yu, don't hold yourself back. After all, Master Ryuga is watching." As the match continues, Yu uses his Libra Inferno Blast, knocking Pegasus and Leon out of the stadium. As that happens though, they're able to use Tornado Wings, making Pegasus and Leon change course and go back on track. With this, they figure it out. It's all coming together. They use Pegasus Stormbringer and Leon's Wild Wind Fang Dance, and timed correctly, they're able to combine 2 storms into one attack. They're able to make this massive form, with 2 Furies turning into one. With this, we see their combined special move, Storm Ultima. Both attacks were equally strong, as Tsubasa uses Dark Move Counter Stance. However, Jinga is able to blast from the sky using his Star Blast attack to defeat Tsubasa. And with this, the winners are Jinga and KiiNGKhyy. We have the next Battle Royale where we have Ryuga and Reiji. Ryuga says, "What a waste of time." He says, "Reiji, you take care of these pawns." Reiji says, "Go, Poison Serpent, start with this one." We also have Sora, and he's able to come back from behind and stop Reiji. Ryuga says, "It seems I've underestimated you. Despite your pitiful appearance, you seem to have potential. How interesting." He says, "So why don't you come over here and show me what else you got? I might as well have some entertainment before I get to the finals." Sora says, "What did you say? I'm not afraid of you. Bring it on." He then uses his special move, Avalanche move. With this, he has an incredible speed that even KiiNGKhyy can't believe it. However, Ryuga is able to stop it, and he says you'll soon learn what real power is. He then activates his dark move, Dragon Emperor Soaring by Strike. He sends Cyber Pegasus right through the wall with an immediate stadium out, as Sora begins to fall off the stadium. Ryuga laughs, saying look there, and Doji says yes, the more Eldrago fights, the more stronger it gets. And now Eldrago suddenly turned black. Ryuga says Eldrago has reached its ultimate level. He launches Eldrago as Eldrago completely destroys the whole stadium. Jinga notices that Eldrago grows stronger by every fight. At this point, he questions himself if he can really defeat Ryuga. Someone else comes to him saying, what's with that sad expression? Aren't you a Power Blader? Jinga says who's there? His Bay ends up fighting with Phoenix. Phoenix says you need to learn Pegasus' ultimate special move, Galaxy Nova. He says my name is Phoenix and in order to defeat Eldrago, I shall teach you this ancient technique. Jinga says hold on, a technique that belonged to my father? What is it? Please tell me more. Phoenix says very well, follow me. Jinga says he's a strange dude, but I feel like I can trust him. In fact, he kinda reminds me of my dad. Pegasus is particularly able to accumulate and concentrate its rotational force, and this luminous eclat is just the energy that it was this process. And then it unleashes all its raw force at once, to multiply Pegasus' attack power. This is the power of Galaxy Nova. But even after the 6th day, Jinga's attempts ended in failure. He was not able to complete Galaxy Nova. Phoenix mentions something about Blader's spirit, but Jinga doesn't get it. Then Doji appears and says, let me ask you a question. Jinga, do you know what day we have? Today is the day of you and Pegasus' doom. Out of nowhere, Phoenix takes the attack for Jinga, and it turns out to be his father. We find out that Phoenix's Bay, Burn Fireblaze, was a legendary Bay that was sealed along with Eldrago. If Eldrago represents destruction, then Fireblaze stands for resurrection. Jinga's father revealed how he survived because of Burn Fireblaze. Jinga notices he lost his dad once, and he never swore to lose someone again. So he talks to Pegasus, lend me all your strength, and let me protect those dear to me. With this, Jinga is finally able to learn the move, Galaxy Nova. Now we're back to Battle Bladers, and among all the participants, only 4 remain. Now they show the arena. Jinga notices that the walls are bigger than before, and they're made from the finest concrete, and are even explosion proof. Now they'll see who fights first. The Bladers of the first semifinals are Ryuga and KiiNGKhyy. Jinga notices KiiNGKhyy, the time has finally come. KiiNGKhyy says, Jinga, whatever happens, promise me not to interfere during my battle. KiiNGKhyy and Ryuga start their fight. Ryuga says, so that's what you've been doing this whole time? Every time Leon dodged, Eldrago's attacked, crashed into one of the walls. With that tactic, he could weak them enough to make them fall down all at once and increase the impact. With this, it was the only way, and KiiNGKhyy says, I'm counting on you, Jinga. Ryuga says, out of the way. Eldrago fights until his adversary is completely destroyed. Leon won't keep up any longer. KiiNGKhyy says, fight me till the end. As this, we see the walls cracking down, smashing both Eldrago and Leon at the same time. KiiNGKhyy says, gotcha, as he falls to the ground. We see that Eldrago gets out of the destruction though, and he's still spitting. Ryuga says, did you really think I would give in so easily? He says, pathetic. And KiiNGKhyy says, oh no, as he stands there on the floor. Ryuga says there is no Bay in this world that can keep up with Eldrago. But then he notices that Eldrago's Bay lost a claw. His attack with KiiNGKhyy eventually did that to him. Jinga tells KiiNGKhyy, you can count on me, pal. And now the second battle of the semifinals will begin soon. Reggie says Pegasus will face the same fate as Leon. He'll make sure of that. He says you will learn what it means to mess with the Dark Nebula. As the battle starts, Jinga leaves the arena. Reggie says, where do you think you're going? Our battle isn't over yet. Jinga says, what are you talking about? Suddenly, Reggie's serpent bursts into pieces. The moment they cross paths, Pegasus dodged the assault and performed a counterattack at the same time. Jinga says this time I will put an end to this, and the final battle has now begun. The day has arrived. Today we'll witness the birth of a champion. Will it be Jinga or Ryuga? And we see Eldrago at the Forbidden Bay. Ryuga destroyed my village, fatally injured my dad, and crushed every of his opponents. Ryuga caused enough casualties. Ryuga says just go ahead and try. Once I have Pegasus' power, I will be unstoppable. They start their battle and we notice an amazing power. Ryuga says, hey, remember this? Dark move. Dragon Emperor Soaring by Strike. People aren't sure what's going on. Pegasus positioned himself in the middle, and that's unusual. Eldrago's assault consists of attacking underneath the fusion wheel with the help of his claws. So if I go even lower, he won't be able to strike. And now for the first time in Battle Blader history, someone has been able to perfectly block Ryuga's attack. Kenta says, wow, when did he develop such a technique? Jinga says, KiiNGKhyy, you're watching, right? Thanks to them, I can unravel the secret behind Eldrago's attack. Ryuga says you're already celebrating after getting away with one attack. He then goes for another special move, Dragon Emperor Striking Destruction. Kenta says, Jinga, look out. Jinga says, my father created this technique, and with this he uses his ultimate move, Galaxy Nova. Ryuga says, what the heck is this? As both Bays stop in time. There's a huge destruction going on. Unbelievable. Pegasus is having the upper hand in this battle. Ryuga says, no, it can't. I won't let it happen. Everyone screams and applauds, screaming for Jinga's name. Jinga says, Kenta? Benkei says the Jinga I know would never give up. KiiNGKhyy says don't let yourself get intimidated by the kinds of him. Sora says I'm your #1 fan, I believe in you. As they continue fighting, Ryuga says it won't end like this. He says I'm not done yet. We see blood dripping from his face, and he says even if it takes me all I have, I won't lose. With this, Ryuga then uses Dragon Emperor, Fatal Claw. He's slowly attacking, clipping off the pieces of Jinga's bay. There's a huge destruction once again. It was now the Galaxy Nova that made a new force awakening within El Drago. Now he won't stop until everything is destroyed, and we see the building and the city all up in flames. Ryuga says you won't make it as he continues to assault towards Jinga's Pegasus. Jinga says Pegasus. Ryuga says that all you got? As the base continue fighting. Jinga falls off the stadium saying this is not good at all. Kenta says Jinga is fighting to protect us all, and Jinga falls to the ground. Ryuga says why don't you join your beloved Pegasus? And he tells him to die. He says prepare to die as he yells out to Jinga. But suddenly as he's about to get attacked by El Drago, all these other Rays come to protect him. They all scream out Jinga, you can do it, don't give up, you can defeat him, we believe in you. And everyone comes to his side. Jinga is shocked, but his Pegasus starts to glow and evolve. Pegasus starts absorbing all of it. Jinga's dad now notices and says that's why. He understands why Pegasus is considered El Drago's counterpart. While El Drago gets stronger the more it fights, Pegasus gets stronger from the heart of its friends. Every blade of spirit, even the weak ones, unite under one star, transforming into a galaxy. This is the birth of a new Pegasus, and he'll call him Galaxy Pegasus. Ryuga says, am I supposed to be impressed? As dark power just seems up in the air. Jinga says Pegasus. And with this, Jinga once again uses Galaxy Nova. With that special move, Jinga is able to defeat El Drago. And he says, I won. I defeated El Drago. Ryuga says, why? Jinga, why haven't you ended it? What's the point of sparing me? Jinga says, well, because I want to fight you again, as he defeats Ryuga. Ryuga suddenly walks away. Ryuga then says, alright, you win this time, and Jinga smiles as his friend calls out to him. They all finish and say let it rip, and the season is over. Well, if you guys have made it this far, I appreciate you guys for watching Beyblade Season 1 of the entire manga, and let me know if you guys want to also see Season 2 and Season 3. Please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.